Hello. Thank you for joining me here again for one of my Thursday devotions. On Mondays, I do the sermon recap from Sunday. And on Thursdays, recently, I've been working through the book of 1 Corinthians, and I enjoy doing that very much. I am Kevin Lentz, the pastor here at Trinity at Badger Ranch. And in 1 Corinthians, we're going to today look at chapter 14. Now, it's a long chapter, 40 verses, so I'm just going to hit what I think are some of the highlights that Paul is teaching about. He starts out talking an awful lot about speaking in tongues, and I'm not too familiar with that myself. I know some people do that. I don't. But he does make sense in how he's comparing tongues with something called prophecy. So I want to read to you verses 3 and 4 of chapter 14. Everyone who prophesies speaks to people for their strengthening, encouragement, and comfort. The one who speaks in a tongue edifies himself, but he who prophesies edifies the church. Now, I think that is maybe more important issue than whether a person can or cannot speak in tongues, because here he is defining for us what it means to prophesy. And I don't know if you ever thought about it before, but you can prophesy, at least according to this definition. Again, it said, the one who prophesies speaks to people for their strengthening, encouragement, and comfort. Strengthening, encouragement, and comfort, those good things that we want to share with people when we're with them, when we can build them up, strengthen them, be for them what they need us to be, help them through maybe a dark time in their life, to strengthen them, encourage them, and comfort them, as we as God's people can do with the voices God has given us, as we are indeed part of the one body, which is the Holy Christian Church on earth. So let's all practice being prophets or prophesying as St. Paul defines it. I also want to look at now at verse 15. So what shall I do? I will pray with my spirit, but I will also pray with my mind. I will sing with my spirit, but I will also sing with my mind. And there's some sort of directions, if you will, on individual or corporate worship, that when we are worshiping God, we praise God, we honor God, we thank God with our spirits, our inside beings, but also with our minds. We're told to love the Lord with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so here St. Paul is saying that when we are involved with worship, worship God with your mind, worship God with your spirit, pray to God with your mind, pray to God with your spirit, sing to God with your mind, sing to God with your spirit. Really kind of like saying, honestly, get into worship, because it is a wonderful thing for us to be able to engage God, especially through his word. We'll look also now at verse 33. God is not a God of disorder, but of peace. Very simple, but very true. Our God is an orderly God. His creation was done in order. He has us aging in order. He's with us throughout our days. And God clearly is a God of peace, of orderliness. God has never been a God of disorderliness or disarray. He's always had his plans laid out for himself, by himself, how we are to be impacted by his will, because he has our best interests at heart. So we give thanks that we have a God who himself is so very orderly and is a God of peace. Then I will look at the last verse of chapter 14 of 1 Corinthians, verse 40. Everything should be done in a fitting and orderly way. Now that's good practical sense in our lives. Things should be orderly, done decently, but in our faith lives as well. We should have things in order. By that I mean we should have some things we do. We should be praying. We should be worshiping. We should be tithing. We should be singing. We should be sharing. We should be comforting. These are all the sort of things in order, or the list of things we can be doing for God's people, as God's people, which we are. So again, I love 1 Corinthians chapter 14. I encourage you to read the whole thing, only 40 verses. But again, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again on Monday with our sermon recap of Sunday. God bless your time. Bye-bye.